And we're live. This is Matt Gibson. What's up, Kingdom of Rock? Welcome to the coronavirus crisis of 2020.
It's all up here from here.
Yeah.
Right. It's nothing but good in the future, right? Can't get any worse.
I feel happy.
Yeah.
Well, at least we're laughing. That's a good start, right? There's hope, right?
Yep.
Well, today, of course, it is 5/13/2020 or May 13th, 2020 for all you picky people. Michael Melinda is here, of course, in sunny San Francisco. And I only say that because I can see from your weather device behind you that it's sunny outside.
It's actually overcast, and I'm bummed fucking out.
Oh, man, that sucks.
Spoiled.
I know. It's usually so sunny here on the peninsula.
Right.
Well, and of course, we're here with Anna Kristina and Clem from Zepparella. Rock on.
Hello.
Where are you at, Anna?
San Francisco.
San Francisco. And Clem, you're in San Francisco? Oh,
Yep.
So this is like a different balance of power here. Usually there's more LA people in the broadcast, but I kind of feel a little nervous about that.
We're represented.
You San Francisco people are a a little shady, I heard.
We're taking over, Matt.
Yeah. Only the climate is shady, as Michael was talking about.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. So how's life in the San Francisco music scene? Pardon me for asking a not so ignorant question because everybody knows it sucks. But how's all this affected you guys?
Oh, well.
Let me tell you.
Yeah. Let's say we're developing a lot of new ways to communicate music to people real fast.
Yeah.
Real fast. We're reaching through your screen to get to you now. Yeah. No, it's been a halt. So we're the music doesn't stop. The music creation doesn't stop. It's just being able to reach it out to everybody else that's taken a new freeway, a new highway, a new tunnel. So that's what we're doing.
It's kind of weird how you guys predicted the whole coronavirus crisis with your Zepparella learning channel. I mean, you knew we were going to be stuck inside months ago.
Watching videos.
Yeah.
Watching lots of videos. Yes, right.
Has that worked out to your advantage at all? Are you getting do you think you're getting more views now because everybody's at home? Or is it like how has that affected your social media? Have you guys noticed any changes?
Well, I guess what my answer would be is that I feel like I haven't been on social media much lately, like through this thing. I don't know. I think that Zepparella kind of realized suddenly everybody was on social media making music, and the band doesn't live in the same place. So for us to get together and do live concerts wasn't really an option.
Mm-hmm.
And so we kind of just we started meeting weekly on a Zoom meeting with some of our great friends who are fans. And beyond that, we've really been just all focusing on our own solo stuff, and
cool.
Yeah, and taking the time that we rarely have because we work so much. We're out for 6 to 8 shows a month, usually flying around or driving. So that takes up a good chunk of time, just leaving and coming back, and everything that's entailed in that. And we were kind of on a rat race there, I think, for quite a long time. So I think that everybody in the band has really been just settling back into the other music that they do. So
that's cool.
Yeah, so that's kind of how we've been kind of doing it. I mean, Zepparella is it's a live event,
Right.
I mean, we have albums out and we record videos, but you know, I always think if the album makes you want to listen to a Zeppelin album, then we've done our job. So, you know, there isn't the same impetus to be recording Zeppelin stuff while we're, you know.
But did I hear you right, though, that you have kind of a Zoom meeting with your fans? Like any Zepparella fans across the world can tune in at a certain time, and
Yeah.
you peeps will talk to them. And
Yeah, it's been really fun. It's been really fun. We see old friends and new, and now we've started having a guest spot every other week, and then every other week we have one of us perform some songs, a couple of songs during the Zoom thing, and then we all just kind of shoot the shit.
Have you had any lunatics in there? I know, like back in the Google Hangouts days, when Google Hangouts came out, you would be like, let's just open a Hangout and see who shows up. And sometimes things show up, and you're like, okay, no.
Well, people have to pay a little money to be on it, so I think
good.
that kind of weeds out. Yeah, that
get rid of the tire kickers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good strategy.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's the first time we've heard about this, though, Matt. A band that actually reaches out to their fans and says, "Yeah, it might cost you a couple of bucks, but we're here every week if you want to check in and see what's going on." I mean, that's actually kind of an interesting way to deal with the shutdown.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing about playing in Zepparella is that the fans are spectacular. We have people who've seen us, 200 shows, who travel around, fly around the country to see us, and so over the last 15 years of the band, we've really gotten to know these people so well, and that's, to me, that's really one of the big heartbreaks, is not being able to see my friends. So being able to keep in touch this way, I think is really nice.
It's a really amazing community. I mean, I always feel like Zeppelin is the wave and we just get to ride on it. And the effusive amount of just exuberant love that gets generated at these shows, that I believe core comes from Zeppelin, from the music. And then we're all just kind of celebrating it together. It's I've performed in lots of different venues with different types of music, and it's a really special thing. So what Clem was saying, I think, is right, spot on, about being able to kind of reconnect with those people, but in a less chaotic surrounding, a little bit more intimate one-on-one, and talk to people. We do lots of chats about music and where we come from musically and what people want to know about our process. But then also, I mean, remember those girls from Germany showed up who are like starting a band, and then you have that. So we have this core group of folks that we love, and then the Zoom thing, we get all these people and realize that there's some influences in places that we didn't even know. So it's really cool.
Well, I also think it's beyond just kind of riding the Zeppelin wave, because, I mean, let's face it, there's a crap ton of Zeppelin bands out there.
Mm-hmm.
And, your band is one of the few that are, well known around the world. And, and there's something going on there that's more than just a band that plays music that a lot of people love. There's something about your presentation and how you put it together. I mean, I don't know how you did it. So how did you do it?
Well, Michael, when we started the band, when, Gretchen and I started, and Anna joined, just, several months later. So, she's really been, there from the beginning. And when we started the band, I thought, because Gretchen and I were in an AC/DC band, right?
Mm-hmm.
And AC/DC, the music, it's like you play the recorded version. And Zeppelin seemed so much freer because it did have these moments of improvisation. And so when I was putting the band together and envisioning it, I just thought, the thing about Zeppelin that is so magical was the connection between those players. The connection between, Plant and Bonham had a special relationship. Plant and Jimmy Page had it was like everybody had these special relationships. Everybody were seminal players that all kind of combined and exploded together. And I wanted to create a band within the structure of somebody else's music, but always have it be a band. So You know, and I really, I wanted to choose players that were my sisters, were my, you know, my, like, that I felt, you know, I've been in original bands, you know, my whole music career, and I wanted it to feel that way. So that I think that's really, I think that's what maybe is a little bit different about Zepparella. And I think because I think people can feel that connection on stage when you feel like you're playing with your best friends. You know, I think that.
I would second what you're saying, Clem. And when I first came in, kind of in an audition way, immediately it wasn't like, "Hi, we're presenting Zeppelin. We're going to present this outside kind of cover of Zeppelin." It was, "We're going to feel this music as deeply as we can, and then communicate that, and we're going to connect together as much as we can." And that's where I live as a musician. I as a singer, I've always I love, that's kind of where I come from. And it was just instant in the way you approach it. And it's never phoned in. It's never just kind of haphazardly played. It's just, you always try to hit that super deep place where you play, and that fuels everything. And I think we're all trying to mean it, you know. We're not just trying to present it. So, and it's, you know, it's layers and layers and layers and layers of music to really feel and to really get inside. So that's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Anna, how did you get into music? Like, what's your musical journey like?
Yeah. Well, my dad was a jazz bass player, so it was always around the house. They'd have rehearsals at the house. I sat in with them when I was very little. Did a super hip version of Hush Little Baby. It was off the chisel. We did it over and over and over again. I would not stop singing Hush Little Baby with the jazz band, but I was like 6. So there was always music in the house, always. But it wasn't just his playing that influenced me. It was what he played on 24/7 coming out of the stereo, which was anything from Beethoven to Bach to Cream to Hendrix to the Beatles to Stevie Wonder to, you know, to Sarah Vaughan to Ella Fitzgerald to it was constant. And as a kid, I just took all that in. And my father and my mother was an artist, so the two of them, music was first and foremost. So between my father being a musician and it being around all the time, it just came in, and that was what I was meant to do. I started singing very early because of that. And then I got hooked up in choirs and stuff through high school, and I was fortunate enough to be into some really, really, really good school choirs. And I don't know, it just kept going. It's just, there was never a doubt. It's like, this is what I'm doing.
You were in acting too for a while, right?
Yep. For a while. I went more that direction in college and did, you know, Shakespeare and real classical acting, not as much musical theater as much just straight up acting. So something about the stage and, you know, kind of getting in and out of all different facets of art and performance art, music and theater. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, how about you, Clem? Were you always a muso your whole life, or did you pick it up later? How'd that work out for you?
Yeah, I played I played a bunch of instruments as a kid. I sang in choir. I, you know, played the piano for 8 years, but, you know, I was never going to be a musician. I was going to be a writer. And I moved to New York when I was 21, and around the age of 25, I started singing in a band, and very badly. I had no self-awareness whatsoever. And at 27, when I was 27 years old, the drummer in our band left, and I sat down at the drums one day and just started kind of goofing around. And my boyfriend of the time, who was in the band, said, "Hey, actually, you have kind of a rhythm, and I'll teach you some stuff." And so for about 6 months, I played. We had drums in the house, and I played. My kick drum pedal was on a cardboard box, and I kind of just played along to some stuff. And then somebody gave me the number of the best drum teacher in New York City, Fred Klatz. And
nice.
and he was writing a book about how to teach drumming. And he was like, okay, you are my guinea pig. You know about music, but you know nothing about drumming. And so let me see how quickly I can get you to play well. So I lucked out. And yeah,
That's cool.
the rest
Honest
is
teachers are good, right? The ones that don't gaslight you. Oh, you're great. You know,
Right.
they're like,
yeah,
they're
he's
just like, let's get to
absolutely
work.
the best.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's absolutely the best, and I still take lessons with him.
Oh, that's nice.
That's
Mhm.
great.
Mhm.
Well, I
So
think
Mike, oh, go ahead.
so, Mike.
Well, no, it looked like you were going to say something. I was like,
I'm Italian. I'm always going to say something. You know, most of the time I probably should just keep my mouth shut.
No.
Yeah. But thanks. Anyway, I think that what you said about the chemistry with the band is, I think, is important because I think sometimes, you know, when I've covered tribute bands in the past, it's funny because everybody will go, yeah, we got the best guitar player in the area, we got the best singer and the best, you know, bass player, and you realize that, you know, a lot of times they kind of hate the crap out of each other, but they got the players together, and they think that that's what's going to work for them.
yeah,
We're going to be blown away by these individuals. And as you mentioned earlier, it really has nothing about being a band or putting on, you know, a force where everybody is kind of on the same page and playing for the audience. You know, so I think that's important. And you know, and through the years of the band, when you've had some personnel changes from time to time, it's like, you know, is that one of the things that you all, you know, how do you test people to make sure that they're going to be, you know, okay with you as a group rather than just a great instrumentalist?
Well, I mean, that is the same as, you know, choosing any friend.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, sometimes
Mhm.
people walk into a room and you're like, them,
Mhm.
like that person that we just click. And how fortunate I've been to have everybody in the band be that way, you know, where it was kind of immediate, like, you know, you're the one. And so, and we've just been, you know, we've been so lucky to have such incredible friendships and develop and such great musical connection. And I think that I think you see it in a band, you know, I think you see it in any band when the people have a magic vibe between them, you know, it's undeniable when you see that, when you feel that as an audience member. Um,
Do you think your vibe at the time when you were building the band, do you think that's what attracted all these individual, you know, ladies to the band, and where you guys kind of had the same kind of mindset or same vibe on, you know, how you guys vibe as musicians and as people and stuff? Like, what do you think attributed to that? Was it just luck, or what, or do you think it was something that you projected out there in the universe, so to speak?
well, I think that there is some luck in finding people that you meet that way. I mean, you know, Gretchen met Noelle, our previous singer. She met her at a Robert Plant concert, just standing in line and commenting on how cute her outfit was. You know, so
Right.
that's lucky.
That's like,
Yeah. And you know, and then also you know, just I don't know, just I think that women, you know, who are looking to kind of play music, and we might have a lot of similar goals. And I've always felt like for a band to stay together, everybody's got to kind of have the same goals. When, you know, somebody decides they want to, you know, that they're not as committed or that they're too committed, you've seen that a million times in bands. That's what will break a band up. You know,
yeah,
it's like
different intensities.
yeah, once you
Mhm.
all kind of are on the same page. That's why Gretchen and I have played together for so long. We both really have that same alignment of what music means in our life and how much we're willing to put into it. So, you know, and Anna the same, Holly the same. So, Yeah. So
How about you, Anna? What attracted you to the band? Like, how did it kind of like come into being?
Well, okay, so Clem and I had a mutual friend, this musician who I'd gone to college with, guitar player, singer, songwriter, who knew Clem, and that was the connect. I love Zeppelin. You know, Zeppelin had a big part in my life and musical journey, and I connect with blues-based stuff really well, and that, or that's what I like to feel connected to, and Zeppelin is so rooted in that. And then it was the day we all met. I mean, so I said yes initially to the audition because of all those reasons, but in the audition, it was the energy, because I'm all about what Clem was talking about, is the chemistry and the energy between the people, if that's going to work together. And I got such a great vibe from all three, from Clem, Gretchen, and Neela at the time, who was the bass player. And I knew right then, I'm like, okay, this is going to be so much more than just four people getting together playing Zeppelin. I could just feel it with everybody. And the audition song was challenging for me. So I was pretty focused on that. I think I auditioned with "Since I've Been Loving You." I think that was the audition song.
Really?
Yeah, I
was like, okay, rangiest, phrasing. So I was, pretty locked in my world of getting the song right. But other than that, I think it was the vibe, the vibe. And I was hoping that I didn't know. And then she called me and said, yeah. So it was awesome.
So I guess the reason I was digging so deeply into that is, a lot of people are starting bands, and, it's kind of like, some people look at it like a hippie thing. Like, it's like, oh, let's just, you're my friend, let's start a band. And then you start a band and it just doesn't work, or, so it's kind of like, I kind of think of it like dating. Like, you can just throw it out there and just, okay, you can be my girlfriend and or boyfriend or whatever. And then it's like, well, it might work, it might not work, but you can also put it out that the right vibes to attract the right people. And it sounds to me like that's kind of what Clem and Gretchen, and, you guys had the vibe there, and it was just, it kind of locked in. And, other people, like, if you were trying to put together a band, I'm trying to think, is there a good way to do it? Like, where you're going to be pretty successful. It's not just a crapshoot.
Well, I think that whole thing about putting bands together with your friends is very tricky business, because, Gretchen and I, we started the band because we wanted to play more. And we wanted to really expand our chops and really dive into a music that we loved. And we wanted to play a lot. We wanted to live as musicians. And that's why we started the band. So anybody who came into the band, we had that, we want to make a living at doing this, or have it, do our best at doing that, which brings a level of professionalism to it. There's you can't excuse stuff. Right? Everybody kind of starts at a level playing field. Like, we all know there's a level, like, we're going to show up to gigs. We're going to be on time. We're going to be polite to the sound man. We're going to, I don't want to have to apologize for anybody, handle your shit, get to the place on time, all that stuff. When you're with friends, now you've established a kind of dynamic with your friend, and you might love jamming with them, but will they, drink too much at the show and have you end up having to load all the gear? Will they do? Right. And then when that happens, then what do? And then you love playing with them, but they've got a kid who's like, 6 months old, and they can't really take all of the shows that you're offered. And then it's this big problem. And then you got to like worry about like having to kick your friend out of the band. And I mean, it's just, I almost feel like it might be easier to just start from scratch. I certainly see that from my own project, is my own solo projects, is I would rather just, with the exception of maybe the, of the guitarist that I'm writing songs with, I really just want to hire people, because it makes it a lot clearer.
in a big city, being in a major city is kind of, it's easier to do that too. I just moved here from Virginia to LA, and it's like there were great players in my city. There were bands that did well, but it was nothing but drama. It was just nothing but drama all day long. People breaking up and feuds back and forth, and it's kind of that dynamic you're talking about. And I think since I've moved to LA, I've met all these pros that they have. It's not that they're better or worse musicians. It's that they have a level of expectation, like you're talking about, where they're like, look, we're trying to do this full time. This is what we want to do, and you got to show up and you got to deliver, and that's cool. I like that.
Yeah. I think, and I think even if I ask Anna to play, harp on one of my solo songs, she's my dear friend. I play with her in, Zepparella for all of these years and stuff. I'm going to pay her something when she comes to, she's not going to do me a favor. And the reason I'm going to do that is, one, because I appreciate her time of coming and, this is her craft that she spent all this time on, and she deserves to be paid. But second, it doesn't matter how close you are with somebody. If you give somebody just a little token, and in the form of anything, but money helps, it makes it clean. If you give somebody that, the person will care just a little bit more. And I know this from myself. If somebody says, hey, come by and just play, it's going to feel very free, and I'm going to feel jamming. Come by, I'm going to pay you $20 to lay down the drums on this song. My attitude changes. It's a subtle shift about it. And I think that's what I would tell people who are starting off in a band. Don't be afraid to say, when we play a show, you're going to get this amount, and establish that from the beginning. And I think that clears out a lot of problems, emotional problems.
Well, I'm making a record, and if you play drums for $20 a track, we're down. I've heard you play. No, I'm kidding.
There's the token.
Yeah. $20 and an orange and
right, and a chicken in today's world, and a chicken and a beehive, because the apocalypse is getting ready to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
The toilet paper.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing was what I've always marveled at and respected about Clem, you putting this thing together, is how resolute you are and how focused and how business focused you are. Because I'll get people that know that I've known you and Gretchen for a million years, and they'll, hey, I don't know what this game is. Let's crank Mike up or something. I don't know who cares about this game. Like, who the hell am I? But they'll go, well, Zepparella, they're popular because, well, they're girls. And I would go, are you fucking out of your mind? It's like, do you realize how difficult it must have been at the beginning of that band to have women with male attitudes the way they were play the epicenter of fucking blues rock, to represent all those people in that band? Do you think they got a break? You think that was easy for them? I mean, it's ridiculous. And I mean, so I've appreciated your, stalwartness of pushing through it, but I'm sure the early days must have been difficult, not only just from, people who weren't so open-minded, but probably clubs and things like that too. Am I going to be able to book an all-girl Zeppelin band? I mean, I'm sure you've, had to push through some challenges, to say the least.
Well, I guess we all have challenges. I mean, I think guy bands would get, another Zeppelin band. And, for Zepparella, it would be like, girl band. Okay, that's different, So there's that, there's that side of it. But, as far as just being a female musician, well, as far as being like a female Led Zeppelin band, this is music that is dear to people. And we've had people say, I went to your show expecting that, I was going to see a bunch of dumb chicks ruining my favorite music, you know. and I don't see this being a drummer, but I know, Anna, you see the people who come in with arms crossed.
Arms crossed. That's my big thing. Is when the arms are folded with this sort of looking at us askance for about 3 songs,
Yeah.
you know, and then you see the
Yeah.
and then they're like, yeah.
Do you still get hate mail from people? Do you get people that don't like it?
No, we've never gotten hate mail. And actually, my ego got like strong enough a couple years ago to go through when we started the Zepparella Learning Channel. I thought, okay, well, somebody's going to have to like monitor the comments. Like I've never monitored the comments on any. I've never looked at them.
Yeah,
right.
YouTube is like a sewer.
It's horrifying.
yeah,
horrifying, right?
Yeah,
horrifying.
yeah.
And so I was like, but I'm going to do it because I don't want the girls to have to be subjected to it. And at this point, like, I really just don't care. You know, it's like, nobody can say anything worse to me than what my internal voice has said to me. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I've kind of realized that. So I went through it and I was like, I'm just going to test out, you know, my new fortitude. And I'm going to go on and look at the Levy video, which has, you know, 11 million, how many million? Many million.
15 million now.
15 million hits.
Wow.
And I'm just going to go through and I'm just going to read through the comments and see how bad it was. And actually, it really wasn't that bad. I mean, yeah, there was some really like sexist stuff, you know, some gross sex stuff, you know, which, I mean, whatever. I just kind of deleted that stuff. There was my favorite one was, what was it? It was like, who's making the sandwiches when all this malarkey is going on?
Oh my gosh.
That was my favorite one. I thought that was somebody. Oh my god! I left that one. That was too good.
You should have made like a YouTube video of a bunch of dudes in the kitchen making sandwiches. That would have been hilarious.
I know. But really, I mean, really, there's so much positivity, and the negativity. It's like, you know, nothing you do, people will like. Nothing you do, everybody's gonna like, and if that's everybody likes it, then you got to kind of question it. So
does Zeppelin like it? Have you heard from them? Just curiously.
Well, Robert Plant, I know. I think they all know about it, but Robert Plant has Robert Plant almost he tried to come to our show and got caught in traffic. And
that sucks.
But no, he said nice things. So I think it's you know, I think so far there.
Yeah, that's cool. If you can get Robert Plant to like something that you did in tribute to Zeppelin, that's a good thing.
That's cool,
For
right?
sure. Yeah, that's top notch right there.
Yeah.
He's kind of a beautiful dude, though. After hearing all those stories about Peter Grant, you know, when I was a kid and not know, you know, you were kind of scared of Led Zeppelin back in the 70s, you know, when I was actually going to their shows. And, you know, to meet him later on, years later at the Grammys or something, and have him buy drinks for everybody in the hotel and hang out and, you know, just talk to everybody who came up to him. I mean, it's just like, I didn't expect to see this kind of Robert Plant. But
he's so kind. Yeah. He's just magnanimous.
Yeah.
Generous.
Yeah.
That was a good star meeting. So not only
poet.
It was a good.
That's good.
And
yeah.
So a poet of a human. And he's just
Yeah.
So Clem, what would you recommend for young drummers coming up, you know, learning the instrument and getting started in rock drumming? What would you say to them?
I would say the first thing is get a teacher that just floats your boat. Get a teacher that you love to go and hang out with and talk to and really you understand. You know, I remember it was like Fred, you know, the first time on my first lesson, I feel like the lesson went over by like an hour because we were just talking about stuff, you know, about the way the brain works, about like just the most esoteric drum stuff, you know, and stuff about life that connects to the way that you play. And And I think about my piano teacher, Mrs. Batzer, who, when I was a kid, who it just was excruciating to be in her presence. You know, she was so scary. And, you know, so why didn't I play piano? I mean, I loved music, and but I didn't play piano past that because she didn't instill the love. So for me, the first thing is teacher. Now, I know Braun from Mastodon, he has never taken a lesson, you know, and if you're one of those people, then more power to you. But I am not one of those people. I like to be shown.
I know you said you were in choir a lot, Anna. Have you taken professional voice lessons and things like that?
Oh yeah, from different teachers at different stages of my journey, depending on what I was working on.
Mm-hmm.
Constantly, I study now. Yeah, I think what Clem is saying is right on the money. I think a teacher is extremely important, but I also think really paying attention to what lights you up, what lights you the F up, because what pulls you out of, what pulls your soul out of you? Where is that world? Because the two have to meet. Because I've done a little sidestepping on different in my journey of doing all different kinds of music. Sometimes I'm doing music that maybe it doesn't light me up as much, which still there's lessons to be learned there. But I think you've got to marry those two things. What really lights you up, and the teacher to help you really start massaging that and growing that and massaging that and growing that, and everything that will fold into it. But I think those two together, really. But yeah, I still study. I'm a big fan of it, and just like Clem was saying, you know, I guess some people haven't taken voice lessons, or more power to them. But for me, I feel like I'm constantly working on something else. Oh, I'd like to, how can I work on this vocally, or you know? And I just I find that
you taught yourself the harp, though.
Yeah, I took one lesson with a very, very, very great, good harmonica player who I work with in the field. He gave me one lesson for Levy. He wrote it out and talked to me about blow draw, and certain techniques. And I just, I don't know. Luckily, the harmonica is really movable. You can like transport it easily. It's not like drums. So I could like be sitting in the car in traffic and like blow draw, work on the embouchure here. And I just found myself doing that, like just taking the harp around and wanting, just to kind of just keep working on it. And I don't know. Something about the combination of vocalizing being such breath work and the harmonica being such breath work.
Oh yeah. I can see that.
Man, they talk to each other. It's crazy.
Yeah.
They work together so well. And when I'm done like with a big harp solo, my voice is on fire right after I get done with the harp solo. Like my voice is all juiced up. All the breath is there, and it's just it's amazing. So I don't know. I think that was a kind of a little interesting universal intervention that harmonica happened to be the instrument that Plant played, and we kind of needed it for the levies. So there we go. All right.
That's interesting you said that, because I've had two of these sitting on my desk for about a year, and I don't play harmonica, and I figured I would just pick it up, and you just convinced me.
Yeah, cool.
That's good.
Cool.
Because I need to get my lungs in shape.
It'll do it, man.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah. I remember playing saxophone. That was a good thing to do too.
I played saxophone too for like 6 years in my high school, right? So it's another breath. It's another breath instrument. It's a wind instrument,
Yeah, it'll definitely put your lung capacity to the next level.
Absolutely. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And also, speaking of that, especially for vocalists, I mentioned this in a couple of the other shows, but that we've had. There's no concerts now, and there is a certain amount of stamina that a vocalist needs for the live stage. Well, any musician, I guess, but especially a vocalist. And you're not able to get that now. So how do you kind of keep your stamina going when you're at home?
I practice every day for an hour and a half.
Full out?
I'd say the first 20 minutes is a warm up, and then I take on different songs that work on different parts of my voice. So no, I'm not hitting stratospheric Zeppelin notes for that whole time, but I do touch on it. But yes, it's a different kind of, there's something different that happens when your voice is doing that every single night in the setting of a live show, and with the sound system and everything. There's a different channel that you lock into.
Mhm.
But if I didn't practice every day, that would be a real problem. But so I'm sure there will still be a transition when we get back into, but singing every day, I think it's like working out, man. It's like keep those muscles going. So that's what I'm doing to try to lean into that direction on this.
That's what I mean. I imagine there's going to be some surprises for a few musicians in band when everything opens up next year, whenever it is, where all of a sudden they're going to go, well, I was binging on Netflix and eating a lot of Ben and Jerry's, and now I'm on stage for day one of the tour, and I'm gonna die.
I totally concur. I think the anxiety of that is partly why I try to practice every day. I mean, I may take a day or two off, but that's why I'm trying to stay in. Yeah, it'll be a transition for sure.
Speaking to anxiety, one thing that I've noticed being a singer is that when you sing, it lowers your anxiety a lot. Like it's like a natural drug. It stretches your lungs out, and it kind of pushes that into your head, and it kind of gets you that like endorphin release and everything. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, sure. And also for me, I mean, singing is it's some technique, it's something, there's a lot of gray matter involved in doing it well or trying to, and you don't have room for the other crap because you're focusing on everything else,
Yeah.
But the breathing is bona fide right on. I mean, that alone, I mean, that is an anxiety reducer. And between the focus that, at least for me, it takes as a performer and trying to deliver the vocals, along with just the straight up focus of being on stage in front of people, those things definitely. Yep. Beforehand, now it's a bit different, but when I'm on stage in the middle of it, yeah.
How about you, Clem? Are you does playing drums, is that like a stress release for you?
Well, it better be, because she attacks those things.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anybody hit drums harder than her.
Thank you,
Like,
Michael.
is that a good like mental health outlet, or is that more of a like technical, like different people react differently to performing,
I will say that you never want to have Clem visualize you as part of her rack toms.
Drumming is joy. So I don't know. I don't think I use it as. I feel like if I play drums, everything in my life is good. If I'm playing drums, everything is good for that time that I'm playing drums. And I have a thing that I say sometimes, like if anything seems out of whack in my life, I just have to play drums, and then everything straightens out. That's how I feel about them. They're
so you just beat it into submission.
Yeah. When I'm playing, I'm trying to get underneath my thoughts and just get into that place of joy that's kind of at the center of all of us. And so, to me, it's there's no aggression. I think I have played. If I've been angry, I think I've played angrily, but that's quite a long time ago that happened for me. Now I just try to access joy.
It's been nice that this has been kind of the theme, no matter who we've had on here. We've been lucky enough to have musicians who kind of career criminals, so to speak, as the joy of playing overtakes everything. But, we've all worked with musicians who their ego's in another spot. It's not so much, I need to play because this is who I am and I can't, breathing, playing music, they're connected. There's like, well, I want to be famous, or I want to get a good record, or I want to get 10,000 views on YouTube. Those artists tend to implode fairly easily,
or they become wildly famous and successful.
I mean, there's that thing somebody else said on this show, I forget who it was, that you can get wildly famous that way, but your career probably doesn't last. You have
or you're just miserable in many other ways. It's like, we all look for fulfillment in some way or another. And if people think that's what's going to to them and they get it and it doesn't work, then that's when it's kind of heartbreaking. So.
Well, it's funny. Grant Cardone is one of my favorite success mentor guys. I read a lot of his books, and he wrote a book called The 10X Rule. And he said when he wrote the book, people would call him up and say, like, Grant, the idea is if you need 10 leads to get a sale, you call 100 leads. Don't just call 10. You know, that's the kind of the idea. So he's trying to multiply work and get people to realize if you have results, you'll have 10 times the results if you put in 10 times the effort. And so he's like, yeah, people call me and say, hey man, I've been 10X in my business and my business blew up and then my marriage fell apart.
Yeah.
And he's like that. Oh, bro. And he realized that he was like, oh no, you got to 10X everything. You got to do everything, because if you focus on one thing, yeah, you're going to get amazing at it, and then the rest of your life is going to fall to pieces. So it's like
that's actually a good point. I've seen that through, my 40 years of doing this, probably more than 40 years, but I don't want to go there. But you can 10X anything, just to use that phrase. And if you forget about your partner, or you forget about your kids, or you forget about your bandmates and community, then it becomes all about the journey for success, and then you kind of lose everything, even if you get the success. I see so many musicians so focused on, I need a hit song, I need a record deal, I need a tour. And I mean, I'm not saying this happens to everybody, but I've seen a lot of them where their life sucks because they don't have that joy of just doing it. Something else took its place. The journey for success took its place rather than the joy of being able to communicate wonderful things to an audience.
Yeah, that might be one of the benefits that I had of starting so late, starting playing drums when I was 27 years old. It was that I knew that on any stage I was going to be on, that everybody had been playing for 10 years longer than I had been. And I knew that. So I went into it knowing that I was never going to be the best person on stage. And it was so freeing, and, the idea that like I could have any success at all. I mean, I went on, I started playing drums because I thought it would be a great way to to have a job that traveled, because I wanted to travel and have a job, and doing something creative sounded great. So I started playing drums. So it was all just so goofy to think that I would have any success at it at all. So I think, so that was kind of a benefit, sometimes I wonder if I had started when I was 12, I wonder what, maybe I would have gotten wrapped up in, success career, kind of thing with music, and then been devastated if it didn't happen for me. So I have a lot of compassion for people who start off that way. But yeah.
Yeah, I think God knew that I needed to wait till I was 49. That's how long it took me to get over myself. And now, I mean, that's for real. I did 20 in the military and everything, and I wasn't even being a musician. But now that I'm starting my career now, and I can say, if you guys are, older in life, it doesn't matter now. Anybody can do anything now. There's no gatekeepers. You just build your own thing. Do whatever you want. It's cool. But it's, I always wanted to be like the next Steve Vai or the next, whatever. And Steve's been on the show, and I talked to him, and now I'm like, I don't need to be Steve Vai. Like, I'm just excited that I'm going to get to go play music with my friends on a stage somewhere eventually. I'm going to get to release a record. I'm going to, it's like you said, it doesn't matter. Like, I want to be successful on a huge level, but it's not the same like a kid's dream, like it was when I was younger. And I was like, oh man, I just picture myself up there, like it's just not the same thing, but it's better, because now I've experienced enough life where I'm like, I ain't doing that. That's stupid. I'm not going to kill myself and do that. Like, why are these people making their life so hard and their families suck? And, it's like, it's not good,
Well, like Clem said, if you started at 12, it might have been a different journey, because then you're into the whole, I got to get a record deal, or I got to get a good band. Or, I mean, we've all gone through that.
Mm-hmm.
I think probably one of the reasons that, respected Clem's, business sense in Zepparella is that I think, starting at 27 was probably good because, you were already an adult and you kind of knew what your goals were and how to go after them rather than, being 12 or 13 or 14 and I just want to be famous. I just want to be famous.
Well, I definitely made lots of mistakes. That's for sure.
Well, we all do. We still do.
Oh God, I tumbled and falled.
Hey, at least you didn't
Oh,
fall. Who did Corey? Who did Corey Churko fall on stage?
Oh, it was. No, it wasn't Corey Churko. Who was it? It was because it was. Oh, who's that country singer?
Reba McEntire. Somebody fell. One of our guests fell in a hole that Reba McEntire and Shania or Gwen Stefani or somebody. He fell into the elevator, the stage elevator on top of Reba McEntire. As they're coming up. Yeah. Yeah. So
when he got back to the bandstand, the guys were like, yeah, it's nice knowing you.
Yeah. I guess you ain't going to make it, bro. Yeah. Nice show, though. Good job. Good recovery.
Brutal.
Well, we're getting to the top of the hour here, and I know you guys probably want to get back to those solo projects you guys have been talking about. And
well, why don't we have them talk about that for the next couple of minutes? The solo.
Well, that's a good idea, Michael.
Anna, why would you start? Because
I have an album out right now called Soul Truth, and it's all original music. You can get it on Apple Music or Amazon, or you can get it on my website or the Zepparella website. And I have a album called Session 2 too. You can get all over those places.
What was the concept of that record?
I'm sorry?
What was the concept for that record?
Soul Truth, that album. Working through a lot of struggles on that one. I lost my mom a couple years back, and just kind of rolled in some working stuff out, some struggles, and then redemption through those struggles. That's
a beautiful album.
Beautiful. Thanks, Clem. Yeah. That's what that record is about.
That's deep. So sorry about your mom. That's deep, though.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, that one was a little left hook from the universe, but we just keep going. But yeah, I think about her a lot. So on Session 2, the other album before that was more just kind of my funky stuff. I co-wrote that with a guitar player on that one, and then right now I'm really stripping it down. Go figure. I'm not rehearsing with the band as much now. So I'm playing piano a lot. I play piano. That's been my writing tool forever and my practice tool. And that's my tool. So I'm playing piano and singing. And, stuff's starting to kind of grow out of that. So that's where I'm at.
And Clement, you're in the process of working on an album, right? Is that true?
Yes, I am in a slow moving process. I'm working with my guitarist of 10 years, Justin Cockett. He's now in Nashville, and we've been writing some new stuff and just kind of figuring out what the shape will be of it.
Is that hard to collaborate with him, being so far away, or it's not that big of a deal?
No, we're figuring it out. It's he moved to Nashville, bought a house, and like the next month the the coronavirus stuff hit. So he's been kind of wrapped up in like, oh my God, I have a mortgage and all of this is happening. So like many people, we're all kind of like, what? But recently we've been getting together and starting the process. So he's figured out stuff and we're getting going. So
do you typically let things bubble up just organically, or do you walk in with a plan and say it's going to be about, like Anna's record was about struggle? I imagine that was more organic because you were going through it, Anna. But when you're going to sit down for a record, Clem, do you have a theme, or do you just let things bubble up however they might bubble up?
It really has to do with the lyrics, like where the lyrics seem to be coming from. And but in this record, I really have a desire to write more storytelling songs. I've never really done that before. And just writing stories. And so that's kind of been where I'm coming from from the beginning. And I'll see, maybe I'll have this idea and maybe it won't happen that way. But that's kind of how I'm seeing that.
So I guess you did become a writer.
I am a writer.
She's
Yeah.
a fantastic writer. She's
Yeah.
a
Thank you.
fantastic writer.
Thank
Both
you.
Yeah.
songs and in your articles.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm compiling a book out of my blogs, and
Oh, cool.
yeah. So yeah, just I love to write. So yeah, I'm excited to get.
That's a good complementary skill, as being a writer and a songwriter. You know.
It's a way to fuck out of your parents, though. You know, I want to be a musician. What? You have to go to school. Okay, I'll take journalism. Huh? You know, my parents were like,
I'm going to be a poet.
like you are going to die poor and alone.
If I had been a musician, my dad would have been so happy. Oh my god.
I can write okay, but maybe you could give me some advice, Clem.
Yeah.
I'm forced to be a journalist at times, you know, writing and everything. And I do okay. I did it in the military. I had to do it, but I hate doing it. I just don't enjoy it because it's pain. It's like emotionally painful. It's like I'm so impatient. I'm like, I don't want to rewrite this sentence, but it sucks. But I don't want to.
Do it, Matt. Let it go. Let it go. Do not do it.
All right.
It's funny because, like, in my career, I always have people, and I'm sure you get the same thing, Clem. Well, you know, how do I write? How do I become a good writer? And problem one is that everybody thinks they can write, which is fucking hysterical. No, you can't. You're really bad at it. Just saying. And then the other thing is that, and teachers, I mean, I had good teachers, you know, throughout my life and good mentors, but, you know, if you don't have the spark, if you don't love doing it, if you're not willing, it's the same as being a musician. You know, you can't really be taught to be a good writer. You know, it's kind of got to be there and you got to refine it. And I know I'm going to get a teacher sending me hate mail, but everyone I've ever met had something to say before they started to say it.
Yeah, I really think it is, do you want to spend time doing it? You know, and if you want to spend time doing it, then you can develop a facility for it. You know, drums were the first instrument when I came home. The drums were there, and that's what I wanted to do. It wasn't like, oh shit, I better practice. It was not. Now I feel that way.
But now,
but it really was. It really was like, oh, there's drums in the room. That's what I want to do, and so that's what I did. You know, if so, it really is about just having the passion for it. I would love to be a painter. I would love to be able to learn how to draw, but when I'm doing it, I'm thinking about doing something else. So it's not my thing, you know.
well,
so.
I want to write a book, but I'm a talker. So maybe I could like talk to Michael. I'll just like FaceTime you and you can just write down everything I say. I'm sure you'd love that, right?
Just learn how to get really good at talking into a recording device.
Yeah, record it.
I'd be happy to do that for you, Matt. You know, I mean, I have been editing some books by some pretty famous rock stars at the moment, and they didn't write a word. They just did the same thing, called me up or blah, blah, blah. Or the worst thing is talking through, what's that text to audio to text thing like Dragonfly or something?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And so Paddington Bear had a nail in his butt. It's like, I don't understand what this means.
Yeah. Yeah. I tried that whole I tried the auto text thing. It doesn't work that great yet.
It's really bad. Stay away.
Yeah,
Don't worry, Matt, I'll help you. Just calm down. Just let the writing go. You got other things you can do that well.
But you got to ghostwrite for my ego. I got to get all the credit. I got. No, I'm kidding. I want to be a writer. I want to be known as a writer. I just don't want to be one.
I could be known as a writer.
You're
all
fine.
right. Well,
never given a shit about being cheesed out for anything, so you're fine. Take it all.
All right. Well, new book coming out from Matt Gibson. I'm writing it. It's going to be awesome. So look out for it.
It's going to be called.
And everybody.
Exactly. It actually should be called a talking book. Well, the audio book, I'll read it and then I'll feel like I actually.
If you start there, fuck the print book. Just go right to the audio book.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. I might do that. Well,
Yeah,
anyway, enough talking about me. I want to talk about Clem and Anna, but we have to go here soon. But I do want to say, oh, Gretchen's listening. She put, Gretchen put, are those hamsters, Gretchen? She put two little meme hamsters there.
No,
I
they're
think.
cats. They're
Or they're
cute
cats. Okay, I couldn't tell.
Oh,
Of course, they're cats.
Well, I wanted to say we did have a few people make some comments. Weatherman Jack said, need to get Minnesota open, get you a venue here. We had, you ladies are beautiful and talented. Wait, it's moving. Hang on a second. What did Gretchen say?
She's like,
Hamsters?
Come on.
Yeah. Well, look. See, look, there's another hamster. It's a big hamster. I think he eats hamsters.
Oh my gosh, I have to say this about my pug this morning. He was lying on my legs snoring, and suddenly his tail started wagging like crazy. He was having a really happy dream.
Oh.
Wasn't that cute? I know.
Oh.
I never saw that before.
Oh.
Okay, Mike, which I can't tell them apart. Which one is that?
This one's Agent Danger.
Agent Danger.
Dang. So cute.
OD.
Done? Okay. See ya.
Well, let's give everybody a last words, and we'll go around, and we'll give Michael the last word today, since we'll go around this way. So Anna, what last words for everybody here today?
Oh man, keep leaning into everything that makes your soul shine.
Make your soul glow. Was that?
Shine.
Did you get?
Starting
Does
off-
anyone else get that reference?
I do. I
Yeah.
do. I love that movie.
I'll be back next week. Thank you very much.
All right, Clem. Last words.
Last words. Well, I'm really hoping that everybody is, finding ways to keep themselves happy and safe and fulfilled and whatever. So, and I can't wait to rock again. So, and everybody who commented, Michael Powell, hi, nice, so nice to see you here, and Joe and Tim and everybody, thank you for tuning in, and thanks, and we'll see you soon, hopefully.
Thank you to everyone. I'm throwing in that in my last word too. Thanks to everybody
Yeah.
for watching. Yeah.
And Matt and Michael, thank you for having us. We really appreciated it. We thought it would be cool to have drummer and vocalist, which I thought we were going to talk about drummer and vocalist, the connection there, but next time maybe.
And if you want to say something bad about Gretchen real quick, she's out in the audience.
Oh.
Gretchen, she's just so magnificent.
Yeah. It's awesome.
She's just
Damn it.
wonderful.
Awesome. I love her so much.
And she's got hamsters, so I mean. All right, Michael, take us home. Let make this like the deepest, most awesome ending of all times. Let's hear it.
Well, now Gretchen's laughing. Ha ha ha. ha. Well, just thanks, Anna. Thank you, Clementine, for being on. It's great to share stuff. I think somebody wrote, Joe Lucasti. Sorry about that, Joe. I probably pronounced that wrong. So lots of good advice within this. And I think so. You know, you talked about the soul stuff and all that, which I think is really important, and persevering. And there's a lot of good data that aspiring and even experienced musicians are going to get out of this. So thank you so much for sharing that with the Kingdom of Rock audience. Thank you.
Thanks for having us. This was very cool. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Pleasure.
And in closing, I just want to promote my new book that's coming out.
Called I Hate You.
Yeah.
It's called My Life in Rock and Roll by Matt Gibson. Yeah. Well, anyway, thank you, ladies, for being on the show, and of course, thank you, Michael, as well, for being your good-humored self here, and showing off your guitars every time, man. I want to see before we go, dude. What's the black and orange one there in the background? The one leaning, yeah, that one. Let's see that one.
Red Telly. I made this. I can't even. Oh, this is my Wilco Johnson Memorial guitar. He played with Dr. Feelgood, a bluesy band. You know them, man, all right? And he got stage 4 cancer. He did a record with Roger Daltrey. Thought he was going to die, so I decided I was going to do this as a tribute to him. And then he's still with us. He beat cancer. So
That's awesome.
what a story that is.
Wow, amazing.
That's a good story.
Yeah.
Michael's guitars all have stories.
I love happy endings.
Clem, you and Michael should write a book about guitar stories and drum stories. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be cool.
All right. Well,
you wouldn't have to call me on the phone to tell me what you wanted to write.
yeah, that's true. You could actually use a pencil.
Yeah.
Yeah, or a pen.
Please
All right.
pencil when you send me your stuff.
And Anna, I'm gonna hit you up for the
Blow draw. Yeah, we're gonna blow draw.
All right. Well, cool. Well, thanks again. And we just want to let everybody know if you guys want to hang out with us on Sundays, we're gonna have a community hangout at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time in Zoom. If you want to be a part of that, check out the Kingdom of Rock Backstage Pass Facebook group, and we post the link in there. And also, Clem and Anna, we have a show guest meetup at 1 p.m. on Pacific, and you guys are, of course, invited to that, which I'll send you invitations. So anyway, that's it. Kingdom of Rock out, and peace.
Take care.
Thank you.